Welcome back to another episode of Marketing Without Rules, the show where we work to inspire business owners by bringing on guests who exemplify the hunter mindset. They make moves, they color outside the lines, and they have found creative ways to channel the attention of their community into currency. This show is sponsored by Blue Crocus Solutions, a web design and SEO agency focused on helping home service companies. I am your host, Lewis Vandervalk, and today I have the pleasure of talking directly with you. I'm going to do a solo episode today, and we're going to talk about a few things, and we're going to focus on how you can earn your place in search. Everybody wants to, start their business, automatically show up online, and this is, getting more exciting, I think, personally, with the onset of AI and the way that that shows up in the search results as well. So if you're not being talked about, if you're not being found, it kind of goes one with the other. If you're not being talked about, you aren't being found. And you can sit back and complain and be like, oh, Google's changing and Google's, bringing in the AI overviews and it's all gloom and doom. But when you are talked about, you are being found. Google is picking on that. ChatGPT, Bard, Perplexity, Claude, they're not just reading your website. They're actually scanning the internet for signs that people are talking about your business. They care about your business, that you care about them. They're looking at a bunch of things all related to your business. So we're going to go through some actionable steps here today that will allow you to start to get some more traction, not only in the LLMs, the large language models like Claude and ChatGPT and all of that, but in Google as well. So I'm looking at all of this and the age of AI and everything. I'm actually quite excited because the things that have always been important in SEO, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, they're starting to become even more important now. Things that people, haven't really been paying attention to. We're going to get into some of that in the way you structure your website. But the basics, doing the basics and doing them consistently are going to really help you to just stand out. So let's start with something super actionable here. Get reviews, and don't just get reviews that are a 5-star, but get your clients to mention what you did and where you did it and how you did it. If you can get people to tell a story, if you can even text them a picture of the job or your team on the job to include in the review for your business, that's going to really, really help with that review showing up. And I'll show you really quickly just on Google how that can work. So if we're looking for hot tub removal in Cherry Hill, New Jersey here, I'll just share my screen. We've got the AI overview, and we're currently working with Junk Rescue on their SEO. So they're showing up here right alongside 1-800-GOT-JUNK. But what I want to show you here is the review that's highlighted in the Google search. And let me just make this page a little bit bigger. So you can see this here. It actually pulls out a review that includes the fact that Greg and Jason did a fantastic job removing our old hot tub. Spa guy Dave removes hot tubs as well. So hot tub repair service and whatnot. They moved a hot tub for me. Great service and came out the next day. So getting your clients to include in their review what it was that you did and how you helped them is a massive, massive thing that Google sees. So it's helping you in search, Google, Bing, DuckDuckGo, all of those places that pull from your reviews. Yelp reviews are really important as well. And some of the LLM models, some of the AI models pull directly from those. So reviews are really, really important, not only for, that visual effect of, hey, they've got, in the case of Junk Rescue, they've got over 3,300 reviews now just on Google. So very, very important there. But then get those specifics worked in. And, AI bots, Google, etc., they're starting to quote real review content in their answers, and having those reviews that are real and not just, hey, great job, really, really helps. The second point here is get mentioned in your community. So you can't fake being well known, but you certainly can influence being well known online. And what do I mean by this? So when we started Integrity Junk Removal, one of the things that I did was I was in the community groups all the time. I made a daily task for myself. I actually made a spreadsheet and I basically laid out all of the groups that were active. I had 10 to 15 groups that I was active in almost every day. And I would go in and I would search for the term junk removal, clean outs, etc. And every post that even mentioned those, I would comment on and be like, hey, we can help, or whatever the case may be. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it is to actually incentivize your client. And I did a recent webinar. It's actually a couple episodes back here, and I'll actually just pull it up right now. So if you go to Marketing Without Rules, you can you're listening to it now, so you know how to find it. But if you go back to, what episode was this? It was fairly recent. We actually posted up the webinar. Yeah, so Marketing Without Rules number 35, episode number 35. If you go listen to that, it's a really good look. It's a webinar that I did on how to actually turn one job into 5. And one of the things that we talked about was how to incentivize clients to actually post a picture and, a little description in the community groups, Facebook groups, Nextdoor groups, on Yelp, whatever the case may be. We're going to talk a bit later about Reddit. If you can get people to post on there as well, that's a massive thing. And I'll get into that a little bit more specifically, but get people to talk about you in the community groups. You go in there and talk about, how you're actually helping the community, what you're doing, posting pictures of not just, pictures of junk or old toilets or whatever the case may be. If you're a junk removal guy or a plumber or a tree service guy, don't just show pictures of the jobs. Show pictures, maybe a selfie of you in your branded outfit in front of your, really professional looking truck. And then you talk about, hey, here's, 5 things that the community gets wrong, or 5 questions that we get, or, how much does junk removal cost? Answer people's questions. Don't jump in with just, hey, we do junk removal, or hey, we do plumbing and we're doing this thing and we want you to come buy our service. So get in there, be active on Facebook groups, incentivize your clients to post on the community groups as well. We can also do giveaways. So one of the things that I've talked about many times is how I partnered with local restaurants, got them to give me a $50 gift card, $50 to $100 gift card. And then I would post that up in the community groups and I would basically say, hey, this is what we're doing. We've got this gift card, comment below, and, we'd love to give it to you. So here's an example actually of that. You can see this on our blog as well. But basically the post here is on our blog. It's a blog post, but basically how I use Facebook gift card giveaways. So this is one with Integrity Junk. We launched a $100 gift card to a very popular, local grocery store. And basically you just had to like the page, tag a friend in the comments. Got a ton of, likes there, almost 500 comments, and really, really solid output from that. And we actually got way more traffic to our website when we were running these giveaways, and we do them every 2 weeks, just consistently do them. So that was one way to get a ton of, activity in the groups. And this can be done for absolutely any industry. So get mentioned in your community. That's number 2. So number 1 is get reviews that say something specifically about the service that you did. If they can mention the people on your team, awesome as well. Number 2 is get mentioned in your community. And, why does this work? So why does the getting mentioned in your community matter? Google, AI, they learn from contextual mentions. So even if you don't have backlinks directly from those social media communities, if people in your area are mentioning you organically, the engines, whether it be Google, Bing, etc., they are assuming that you're relevant based on all the different ways that you're being talked about. It's really, really, really valuable. Number 3, get visible on social media. Instagram and TikTok both, and YouTube are searchable. Instagram just rolled this out. So when you post a photo or a reel, reels are kind of what I'm seeing are having the most effect. But talk about, questions that people are asking and answer those questions. How much does junk removal cost? What's the process when I call out a plumber? Do they tell me how much it's going to cost up front, etc.? Answer those questions. Use from hashtags that are local to you. Maybe I don't usually like going super crazy on hashtags, but talk about the location that you're serving. Talk about the content in your post. If you do the reel and you just throw it in Descript and then use that as a caption. So it's Descript is just so I can give you a really actionable insight here. Descript is a really powerful tool that you can use to descript.com. You can basically just take any videos and then you can actually edit those videos really easily through text. So it's really, really user friendly. But anyway, you can throw your video in Descript and it'll give you a transcript, and then you can throw that in ChatGPT or Claude and make a really nice caption that's optimized for SEO. And then your Instagram post, your Facebook post, your TikTok posts, your reels, etc., they start to become searchable assets. So now you're starting to switch from, hey, let's put out a blog every week to, hey, let's be consistent putting out content on these social media platforms that get engagement, gets community engagement, but it also feeds into the search engines. So treat Instagram, treat TikTok, treat all of these different assets like an extension of what we traditionally just thought of as, hey, I'm going to, create blogs on my website. All right. So number 1, get reviews. Number 2, get mentioned in your community. Number 3, use social media like a tool, like the tool that it is. It's now searchable. And if you can post not just a picture of, hey, here's a thing we did, but hey, this is how we do it, and this is where we do it, and so on and so forth. That's really valuable. All right, number 4, this one, if people take action on it, I want you to send me a screenshot and I will send you a gift card. You can quote me in this episode as saying it. I will send the first 5 people that take action on this and actually use this tactic. I will send them a gift card, because most people aren't going to do this, and I want to incentivize you to take action. That's what this podcast is about, is getting out there, being a hunter, not just sitting back and hoping that, your business is going to be served up. So what is the tactic? I need you to go make a Reddit account, and then I need you to hop into your local community groups on Reddit. So what do I mean by local community groups? So if we go to Reddit, now I'm no Reddit power user by any stretch of the imagination, and I'll tell you why this is important, just to give some context. So if we look at, best plumber in Blue Springs, Missouri, Smedley Plumbing shows up in there. So I'm taking an example of a client here. Smedley Plumbing, someone we're working with out there, and they show up in the business profiles there. But you can also see there's Facebook chats here inside of Blue Springs, Missouri Community Awareness. That's a group inside there. They got 70 comments in there. Then Reddit is here as well. So need an honest, locally owned plumbing company. And you can then jump in and comment on those things and be like, well, here's how I would qualify honest. And this is what we do at, Joe's Plumbing. And then you would go through and start commenting on that. So make a Reddit profile, start going into those groups maybe once a week, even if you're not like directly snagging leads off of them. You're then going to comment in a thoughtful way. You're going to give some input and some feedback and some advice to people. And then you're going to get that mentioned and get your business mentioned in there. Google is going to see that. All the AI bots are going to see that as well. So how to choose best plumber. So I'm just going to stay on this. If you look at this here, how to choose the best plumber, Reddit is the #1 Google search result. Google is pulling really, really a lot from Reddit. The AI bots are pulling a lot from Reddit. And here's why. It's contextual. I heard someone say it yesterday. It's a bunch of incels, angry incels on the internet, talking about stuff, but they're smart people, and Google knows this, and the bots know this. They're smart people, and they self-police basically. So they'll basically downvote. Well, we can go into here, right? How to find a good plumber. You can see that this got upvoted by Big Booty Tootie. When a plumber shows up, ask him to explain his process for a project, blah, 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 right? So you could go in there as a plumber and give some really good advice, right? And then people upvote you or they downvote you, and AI takes that and looks at it and sees, what's the interaction on this, and is it valuable, and do other people find it valuable? And it's basically using that self-policing to see, is it valuable for us to show in the search results? So get on Reddit and start to be active. If we were to take an example of, I'll think a random example. Let's run with it here so that we can go here together. Let's look at Cherry Hill, since we did junk rescue there before. So South Jersey. So Reddit basically has communities, and it's basically r/whatever their community is. So it could be r/New Jersey, r/South Jersey. So let's just do junk removal Cherry Hill. And you can go in and you can see which communities are talking about. So our Philadelphia, someone's asking for recommendations on best junk removal service. In our declutter, you can go in here and you can actually join these communities and start to build up your community and talk about the different things that you're doing and how you do it and why it's important. Include a link to your website. You can get a bonus backlink from it. But there's a ton of people talking about junk removal on Reddit. And if you can go in there and do that. So if you do, plumbing Cherry Hill, you can see again. So someone in this area, if this was you would jump into our South Jersey. You would then, start interacting with the group, be an active user, you can make comments, you get upvoted, and so on and so forth. And then you can, interact on those posts that are relevant to your business. Really, really valuable. Well, again, it's a foreign thing for a lot of people listening to this, but it is so powerful. Reddit's showing up in search results everywhere. Perplexity, ChatGPT, and Google are using it really, really strongly. All right. So that's 1, get reviews. 2, get mentioned in your community groups. We can now include Reddit. I talked about Facebook and whatnot. Get visible on social media. That's number 3. Number 4 is use Reddit to answer questions and get cited by the AI. Okay. Reddit is just so powerful. It's ranking now as a search result, often up near the top 3 or 4. All right. So now the other bit here is I am going to give you a bonus tip here. And this is something that a lot of Google has always liked this, and it's come in and out of popularity in the SEO communities. But bonus point here is use Schema on your website. Every single page on your website should have Schema. And what Schema is basically a really technical way to look at what's actually on that page. So you're telling Google, telling the AI bots what things are on that page. So I'll give you an example here. And I just pulled up a random page on junk rescue. They're getting featured here in this, but suggest all the schema types. So you can go on ChatGPT and you can look at it. You can give it the page. You can then copy the text. There's a bunch of different schema builders out there. There's plugins. You can use Rank Math, which is what we use a lot. You can then add custom schema types in there. But basically what Schema does is it tells Google and the AI bots what it is that's on that page. And you can classify everything on that page. So, you can do, organization data. So, their name, your website, you can do same as, so you can link all the different entities, your Facebook page, your Yelp page, your Instagram, your LinkedIn, all of these, you can link these together and say, Google, this is the same company as all of those different things. ChatGPT, this is the same company. And so it can read all of that. You can have this phone number, have that the same as your name, address, and phone number across the internet, your address, so on and so forth. This is, dummy data that's in here. And then there's local business schema that you can add. And you can then compile all of these together into a puzzle piece, into a puzzle, right? You take all the puzzle pieces, organization schema, local business schema, what services are on there. So you can talk about the different services that are mentioned on that page. There's breadcrumbs. So you can do like a little bit of a navigation thing. And you're basically just laying out really clearly for these search engines, whether it be bots or, the traditional search engines as we know them, what's on that page. You can talk about the review rating. You can even put individual reviews on there. You can add any FAQs that you can have. You can put them in the, structured markup data. If you have images on there, you can do video. You can do a whole bunch of different things, right? So, ChatGPT just gave some various simple suggestions here. But what this does is it really clearly tells Google and the bots what it is that is on your page, what is on your website. So every page on your website needs to have that. Your pricing page, your FAQ page, your contact page, all of this clearly lays out in a snapshot in code, which is what they read, what is happening on your website. So 4 things, 4 actionable steps. We'll just review them once again. Get reviews that mention you and what you did and how you did it. Get mentioned in your community groups. Could be through giveaways, could be through you just going in and being active. Number 3 is get visible on social media and start using that as a tool, kind of thinking of it as what we traditionally thought of in the term of blogging. Get out there, Instagram, TikTok, etc. Be active. Use SEO terminology in your quotes and captions. Number 4 is use Reddit. So this is the actionable one. I mentioned 5 people. I'm going to shoot them a gift card if you can send me proof that you have actually taken action on this. So you can just hit me up at contact@bluecrocus.ca and that will come through and we'll get you sorted out there. And the number, bonus number here is schema. So this isn't about manipulating search engines. This is about doing stuff that actually helps people, documenting it loudly, consistently, generously, getting out there, showing people what you do. And then the search engines, the bots are going to see that and help serve you up for the people who need your services. So if you do a good job, you run a great company, get out there, be active, do the things that get your company mentioned, do the things that are valuable in your community, and then take action on these things. So this is how you earn your spot to actually show up in, the changing landscape of SEO, AEO, whatever it is that people are calling it these days. This is how you earn your spot to make that happen. All right, guys, as always, thank you for listening in. Share this with someone. Please, go and like, subscribe, rate to the show wherever you're listening to it. And please take action on at least one of these things. If you care about your business, if you care about, being someone that needs to be there when people are searching, go take action on one of these things or all of them. Take action on something here. Be a hunter, don't be a gatherer, and we will see you on the next one.